Where were you the first time you watched Grease? Maybe it was a crowded cinema back in the summer of 1978, a scratched video home system that you wore out in the 80s, or perhaps it was during one of its many revivals on television. However you first saw it, chances are you have gone back to it more than once. The songs stay in your head, the dances are easy to picture, and John Travolta as Danny Zuko with Olivia Newton-John as Sandy Olsen have become faces people never forget. For anyone still hopelessly devoted to Grease, there are secrets worth knowing. Here are 10 behind-the-scenes facts that may surprise even the most loyal fans. The phenomenal success of the Grease soundtrack. The Grease soundtrack from 1978 became one of the biggest albums of its time, selling more than 28 million copies worldwide and staying #1 on the Billboard charts for 12 weeks. It was filled with songs that defined the film, including the title track by Frankie Valli and the duets between John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. However, most fans did not figure out how the music went through last-minute changes. Director Randall Kleiser explained in a 2018 interview for the 40th anniversary that they wanted to keep the nostalgic sound of the stage show while adding a modern touch for the film. The original play by Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey had a grittier Chicago setting, but for the movie they softened it and added new songs to make it work for the screen. This mix helped turn the soundtrack into a cultural landmark, even though it caused some scrambling during the production process.
In the play, it was originally Kenickie singing the song Grease Lightning, but because we had John Travolta and he was a big star, we switched it over to John, and this happened several times.
One of the most famous songs, Hopelessly Devoted to You, was never part of the plan. It was created after filming ended because Olivia Newton-John's contract required a solo ballad for her character, Sandy. Her producer, John Farrar, wrote it quickly, and a simple scene of Sandy singing beside a kiddie pool was filmed to add it in. In a 2022 Daily Mail interview, Newton-John explained that the song was recorded and filmed only after the movie was finished. The song gave Sandy more emotional depth and went on to earn an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song, helping boost the soundtrack's success. Kleiser later said in a 2024 behind-the-scenes Saturday blog that although rushed, it captured Olivia's vulnerability perfectly. John Travolta, who had become a star with Saturday Night Fever, also shaped the soundtrack. He pushed to sing Greased Lightnin', which belonged to Kenickie in the Broadway version. Travolta said in a Variety interview that the song was meant for Jeff Conaway, but he felt it fit Danny better. The change upset some, but it gave Travolta another considerable number. Kleiser supported the decision, saying in 2018 YouTube interview that John's energy made the performance iconic. It showed how Travolta's influence shaped the adaptation, turning what was once a group number into one of the most memorable parts of the soundtrack. Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee, sung by Stockard Channing as Rizzo, was also altered from the stage show. The original lyric referenced Sal Mineo, but it was changed to mention Elvis Presley instead. Elvis, Elvis, let me be. Keep that pelvis far from me. By coincidence, the scene was filmed on August 16, 1977, the same day Elvis died. Channing recalled in interviews shared by Express that no one knew at the time, but the timing gave it an unexpected weight. Kleiser said in a 2023 Fox News piece that they changed the lyric for tone, but filming it on Presley's demise felt surreal. Before Alan Carr acquired the rights, producers Steve Krantz and Ralph Bakshi had planned an animated version inspired by the stage show's cartoonish style, with ideas for a raunchy approach like Bakshi's Fritz the Cat. Carr instead pushed for live action, keeping only animated opening credits designed by John Wilson of Fine Arts Films. Kleiser explained in a Greasy Kid Stuff magazine interview that live action gave them a way to balance nostalgia with real energy. Travolta later said in a 2022 Golden Globes retrospective that live action strengthened the music, while animation might have weakened its impact. The cast and crew have often looked back on the making of the soundtrack. In 2018, Newton-John told Sunday Night that Hopelessly Devoted to You was a gift, and that John Farrar captured her feelings perfectly. In 2018, the upcoming interview, Travolta recalled fighting to sing Greased Lightnin', saying it became Danny's moment. Kleiser reflected in a 2007 Sound and Vision interview that they reshaped the stage play's music, adding songs that defined the time. These adjustments, some made under pressure, gave the soundtrack its lasting place in music history, blending older influences with the demands of film. Tricks. The production of Grease in the summer of 1977 faced exhausting Los Angeles heat, with temperatures often exceeding 100 degrees. The cast and crew worked through intricate choreography, wearing wool and polyester costumes that added to their discomfort. There was no modern computer technology to rely on, so the team created the nostalgic 1950s mood with practical effects and illusions. Director Randall Kleiser recalled in a 2023 interview that the gym scenes reached 116 degrees, with no air conditioning and sealed windows. Still, they continued with tricks to hold the atmosphere. This approach was present in the large dance scenes and the whimsical finale, giving the film a lasting quality. The relationship between Rizzo and Kenickie carried a raw detail that came from genuine hickeys on Stockard Channing, applied by Jeff Conaway during their makeout scenes. Channing explained in interviews that Conaway insisted on doing it himself for authenticity. In a 2008 discussion, Conaway said he wanted it real, and that Channing agreed. These touches cut through the polished musical numbers, adding grit to the teen storyline at a time when the heat made long takes especially hard. During the finale, Olivia Newton-John's change into Sandy's leather outfit was another logistical challenge. The switch into her black pants and jacket was made off camera in seconds, but the zipper on her tight pants broke. Assistants sewed her into them, then pulled her through a hidden door for the transition. Newton-John explained in a 2018 retrospective that she could not breathe and had to be cut out of the pants after takes, but the moment gave Sandy her dramatic change. This quick backstage trick, set against the carnival chaos, gave the appearance of a smooth transformation. A product placement problem added more pressure. Producer Alan Carr had secured a Pepsi deal, but Coca-Cola logos had been filmed into scenes at the Frosty Palace Diner. Post-production crews blurred the Coke signs and drinks through film overlays to avoid conflict. Randall Kleiser explained in a 2012 DVD commentary that this was a last-minute fix, using optical work to prevent lawsuits. It kept the focus on the story instead of company disputes. The famous flying car ending relied on practical effects instead of computer graphics. A miniature car was used against painted skies, with wires and matte paintings helping to create the illusion of flight. This sequence was added later to echo the stage show's cartoon origins. Effects artist Jim Danforth, known for matte work, helped achieve the look. In a 1998 interview, John Travolta said it was all practical and felt magical. The moment brought the story to its close with a sense of whimsy, even as the cast had endured exhausting conditions. These practical choices defined how the film came together. Channing later recalled in a 2012 National Broadcasting Company interview that she and Conaway laughed about the hickeys, even though they were authentic. Newton-John shared in a 2022 tribute that the outfit change left her dizzy after repeated takes, but gave Sandy a strong ending. In 2023, Kleiser spoke of the Coca-Cola blur as a headache, but necessary. Records of the flying car sequence list matte artist Mike Pangrazio as responsible for the skies. The heat in the gym caused dancers to faint, so ice packs were hidden under their costumes to keep them going. Jeff Conaway even suffered back pain from bending slightly to match John Travolta's height. Newton-John explained in interviews that being sewn into her outfit made sitting impossible, but it helped show Sandy's change. The Coke fixes covered logos on posters and coolers through overlays, and the car models flew on wires against the painted backdrops. Kleiser said in his commentary that these effects made the illusions believable. Despite these challenges, the film has a timeless quality that remains relevant. Casting. The casting of Grease moved quickly, bringing together Broadway actors and new talents to create a group that carried the film's lively spirit. Producer Alan Carr and director Randall Kleiser searched for performers who could reflect the teenage mood of the 1950s stage musical. Still, the process came with many rejections and sudden changes. Olivia Newton-John, already a Grammy-winning singer with hits such as If You Love Me, Let Me Know, was unsure about playing Sandy Olsen. At 28, she feared her first significant film role would fail. She asked for a chemistry test with John Travolta, who also wanted it to prove their match. After the test worked, she dyed her hair blonde to fit Sandy's clean image. Newton-John later said that the test was essential, and that Travolta's support helped her agree. The choice made her a film star.
Well, when we were casting for Frenchie, we had people in, but the moment Didi Khan walked in, we...
Henry Winkler, famous as Fonzie from Happy Days, turned down Danny Zuko because he did not want to be typecast as a leather-jacketed rebel. He later said in interviews that it was a poor decision, telling Chris Wallace on the cable news network that he was a fool for saying no. This allowed Travolta to step in. Travolta had played Doody in the touring production of the musical, and with his new fame from Welcome Back, Cotter, and Natural Confidence, he fit Danny. Kleiser later said that Travolta's Broadway background made him the choice after Winkler stepped aside. Another unexpected twist came when adult film actor Harry Reams, known for Deep Throat, was briefly cast as Coach Calhoun. Paramount executives rejected him once his background was public, fearing damage to the film's family image. Sid Caesar replaced him, with his comic style winning the role. Kleiser explained in DVD commentaries that Reams was too controversial, but Caesar brought the right humor. Jeff Conaway, who had played Danny on Broadway, was moved to Kenickie when Travolta took the lead. Conaway said in a 2011 Playbill interview that although he had once been Danny, Kenickie allowed him to play the second-in-command role. Didi Khan earned the part of Frenchie after dyeing her hair pink for a callback. She impressed with her bright style, which fit Frenchie's beauty school dreamer character. Khan told People in 2024 that the pink hair was a bold choice that gave her the part.
Doing that film was the camaraderie of everybody who was in that picture. Everybody had a great time.
The cast's relationships carried beyond the set. Newton-John and Travolta built a lifelong friendship, later working together in Two of a Kind in 1983. Rumors of romance followed, but Newton-John married Matt Lattanzi in 1984. Travolta said in People in 2018 that their connection was strong. Conaway and Stockard Channing dated briefly during filming, which matched their Rizzo and Kenickie story. Channing explained in a 2012 National Broadcasting Company talk that Conaway gave her real hickeys for the role, adding energy to their scenes. Con later married Barry Pearl, who played Sonny in 1982 after production. Con said in an E! News piece in 2025 that their love began on set. The group often reunited, such as in 2006 for DVD features, where they remembered the heat and long dance scenes. Kleiser said at that time that their friendships gave the film its life. These ties grew from the intense shoot, which lasted 5 weeks and included long dance rehearsals in high temperatures. Newton-John and Travolta's friendship lasted until she died in 2022, with Travolta saying in tributes that their bond began with the screen test. Conaway and Channing's short romance carried into their performances, while Con and Pearl's marriage lasted for years, with Con becoming stepmother to his son. Pearl recalled in 2018 that Grease brought them together permanently. During the reunions, the cast laughed about moments such as fainting due to the heat, and Channing said that by the end, they felt like a family. There were also changes in casting beyond the leads. Caesar's replacement of Reams gave the coach role a lighter touch. Conaway's Broadway history added experience to Kenickie, which he described as a trade but still enjoyable. Con's pink hair story became famous, with her recalling in 2024 that it showed her commitment. These experiences and the lasting friendships made Grease more than a production. Travolta explained in 2018 that the friendships remained the true legacy. Predicting future trends. Grease blended memories of the 1950s with an energy that looked ahead. In doing so, it echoed cultural changes that were about to arrive, even though it was made as a light musical. Director Randall Kleiser and producer Alan Carr aimed to create something cheerful that honored the past. Still, their costume, music, and story choices ultimately reflected later shifts in fitness, music, feminism, and ideas about the future. Kleiser said in interviews that the aim was escape, Yet the movie tapped into new directions without the maker's knowledge. This came from transforming the Broadway version, which was more raw, into something brighter set in California, which allowed these quiet predictions to emerge. Sandy's change at the end, from a quiet neighborhood girl to someone dressed in black spandex with red heels and a cigarette, seemed to look ahead to the fitness boom of the 1980s. Jane Fonda's workout videos in 1982 became very popular. They celebrated strong bodies and workout clothing that gave women new confidence. The film's costume designer Albert Wolski said the clothes showed Sandy breaking with her old image. Still, they ended up echoing the fitness craze that followed. Olivia Newton-John later told in a 2018 interview that the pants were so tight they had to be sewn on and she could hardly move, but they showed a bold change. Fonda's videos sold millions, and Sandy's look in Grease had already pointed toward that culture of exercise and body strength. Kleiser said it was made to be fun, but it is still tied to new ideas of body image. The music in the film also matched the scene. Songs like Greased Lightnin' and You're the One That I Want helped lead from disco into new wave music at the end of the 1970s. The soundtrack, which sold 28 million copies, worked because it mixed Broadway numbers with disco sounds close to the Bee Gees, and that helped shape the blend of styles that new wave later used. Blondie, which emerged from the New York punk world, added disco touches to songs like Heart of Glass in 1978, showcasing the mix that was becoming increasingly common. Debbie Harry of Blondie said that the fusion of styles at the time was inevitable, and films like Grease helped revive rock with dance rhythms. Kleiser said the music was meant to link periods, but it sounded like what came next. The story also reflected changes in gender roles. Sandy's choice to leave behind her good girl image and take charge of her path fit with the wave of feminism that was growing in the late 1970s. The script was revised to make her choice more straightforward, as Kleiser explained, and Rizzo's song, There Are Worse Things I Could Do, addressed a woman's freedom in ways that resonated with later debates. Stockard Channing said that Rizzo was like a feminist before the word was often used that way. People later viewed this as part of a larger discussion about women's choices and labels. The final scene, where the car flies into the sky, added another layer. Danny and Sandy's Greased Lightnin' rising into the clouds hinted at future dreams linked to eco-friendly ideas, such as hybrid cars in the 2000s. At the time, it was achieved with models and mats for effect, but it created a sense of pushing beyond limits. Kleiser said it was meant as fantasy, but it seemed to touch on ideas about new ways of living. Some fans later saw it as a symbol of future green thinking. John Travolta said in interviews that it felt like a dream escape, which by chance matched with ideas of a future beyond old fuel. The way Grease was made with Wolski's costumes, the mix of music, and the tone of the story ended up predicting more than it planned to. Kleiser said they were simply making something fun, but it caught the feeling of the time without trying. That has helped the film last, with people later looking back on it as more than a simple musical, but as something that mirrored changes that were about to arrive. Locations behind the scenes. Grease used real places in Los Angeles to create the world of Rydell High, turning regular spots into the bright picture of 1950s teenage life. The filming began in June of 1977 during a severe heat wave, with temperatures rising past 100 degrees. The heat turned the sets into ovens, making it difficult for the cast and crew to work. Some actors fainted, and ice packs were used under costumes to cool them down. Director Randall Kleiser later stated that the heat was harsh, but the locations provided the film with the right look and feel of the time. Venice High School at 13,000 Venice Boulevard became the outside of Rydell High, chosen for its classic style that resembled American schools of the 1950s. The school's Watson Field was used for the outdoor pep rally and carnival scenes, as the large spaces made it possible to film crowd shots and big dance numbers. Work at this location began in June 1977, and its closeness to the beach added to the light mood throughout the film. John Marshall High School at 3939 Tracy Street in Los Feliz was used for inside shots. The school's gym was extremely hot during filming, as it had no air conditioning and the windows could not be opened due to safety concerns. Temperatures reached 116 degrees during the dance sequences, and several cast members fainted. Still, the school's old design, with its towers and long halls, gave the classroom and hallway scenes a sense of place. Kleiser said he picked it because of its flexibility, as it had also been used in other films. The heat required shorter takes and frequent breaks for water, but the building provided the movie with an authentic school atmosphere. The drag race between Danny and Leo was filmed in the Los Angeles River Basin, between the 1st and 4th Street bridges in downtown Los Angeles. The empty concrete riverbed, which had been used for illegal races in the 1950s, made the scene feel true to its time. The bridges created dramatic frames for the race, and Kleiser said he chose the spot because of its tie to car culture in the city. The shoot required careful planning, as flooding could pose a risk, but the location added grit to the sequence. The riverbed later became a famous filming site for other movies. The beach scenes that opened the film, where Danny and Sandy shared their summer moments, were filmed at Leo Carrillo State Beach in Malibu, at 35,000 Pacific Coast Highway. The beach's cliffs, waves, and caves were used as a substitute for Australia, the story's original setting. The secluded areas made it easier to capture private moments, and its closeness to Los Angeles meant the crew did not have to travel far during the heat wave. Kleiser said he liked it for its natural beauty, and the same beach later appeared in other films, adding another layer to its history. Huntington Park High School at 6020 Miles Avenue in Huntington Park was used for the large pep rally, with cheerleaders, a band, and students filling the gym. The old wooden bleachers and loud echoes of the building helped the scene feel real. The track and field outside gave even more space for filming. Kleiser chose it for its genuine school spirit, and the extras, including local people, added more life to the rally. The heat made the day hard, but the energy of the large group carried through on screen. These places, ranging from schools to the river to the beach, were chosen for their realism and proximity. The summer heat of 1977 forced the team to take shorter days, bring medics on set, and find ways to keep actors safe. John Travolta remembered the drag race location as hot but exciting, and Olivia Newton-John said Malibu's waves worked perfectly, even though the script had Australia in mind. Cast members later recalled the rally as full of energy, but also very tiring. Today, fans visit these spots, keeping the memory of Grease alive in the places where it was filmed. Backup dancers and body doubles. Grease depended not only on its stars, but also on its ensemble cast. Behind the costumes and music was a carefully chosen group of 20 backup dancers, selected by choreographer Patricia Birch. She had worked on the Broadway production and wanted dancers who could bring life to the film as characters, not just performers. The group included talent from both New York and Los Angeles, and Birch said she wanted them to look as real in the halls of Rydell High as they did in the dance numbers. To give them identity, each dancer was given a name behind the scenes, such as Sauce, Trix, Cece, Wapo, Midge, Moose, and Bubba. These names were never spoken on screen, but added to the sense that they were real students. The dancers were central to the large group scenes, such as the pep rally and the school dance, where their energy carried the atmosphere. Filming the hand jive dance in a hot gym with sealed windows tested their endurance, with several fainting during takes. Birch used her background in modern dance and rock and roll rhythms to build choreography that made them essential to the film's energy. One of the dancers, Daniel Levins, billed as Levins, stood out to fans. Known informally as the Green Shirt Guy, he became a favorite for his spirited movements during the hand jive contest. He had trained with leading ballet teachers in New York and had danced with major companies before appearing in film. His style mixed comedy with precision, and fans later described him as the hidden star of the scene. Levins died in Brooklyn on September 15, 2015, at the age of 61, with some reports saying 62, from a lung infection. His work as a teacher and choreographer continued to be remembered, and his role in Grease became part of his legacy. Patricia Birch also appeared briefly during the hand jive scene, uncredited, because she wanted the movements to feel natural. She had been a Broadway performer in productions such as West Side Story and A Little Night Music before working behind the scenes. Her later career included directing Grease 2, but her small part in Grease was one way she added detail to the production. The film also relied on body doubles and stunt work when the scenes required it. Although uncredited, stunt coordinator Eddie Paul designed and prepared the cars for the drag race and supervised high-risk moments, including flips and crashes. His background in Hollywood vehicle work later included films such as The Fast and the Furious. Victoria Granucci was a double for smaller stunts, such as falls during the pep rally or slips on the dance floor. These additions kept the cast safe while maintaining the illusion of spontaneity on screen. The ensemble's story was tied to the later experiences of the stars. Olivia Newton-John became an international figure after Grease, but in 1992 she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She fought the illness for 3 decades, supporting cancer research through her foundation until her death on August 8, 2022, at the age of 73. Jeff Conaway, who played Kenickie, injured his back while working on the Greased Lightning sequence. The injury led to an addiction to pain medication, and he died from pneumonia and related issues on May 27, 2011, at the age of 60. Annette Charles, who played Cha-Cha, filmed the Thunder Road scenes while suffering from an ectopic pregnancy that later required emergency surgery. She died from lung cancer on August 3, 2011, at the age of 63. Susan Buckner, who played Patty Simcox, later taught theater, but died from neck cancer on May 2, 2024, at the age of 72. Ed Burns, who played Vince Fontaine, died of natural causes on January 8, 2020. At 70, John Travolta has remained a central figure in keeping the memory of Grease alive. At the 40th anniversary in 2018, he paid tribute to his co-stars and spoke about the mix of joy and loss tied to the film. In 2019, he reunited with Olivia Newton-John at public events where they wore their original costumes. In 2025, he returned as Danny in a Hollywood Bowl gathering with surviving cast members, saying they would all be together again one day. The backup dancers and body doubles gave Grease life beyond the leads, filling the film with the rhythm and texture of a believable high school world. Their presence, along with the hidden work of stunt performers, helped shape the movie into what audiences remember, while the passing of so many involved gives the story of the film a lasting weight. Cameos. Grease carefully included veteran performers to add nostalgia, often casting them as authority figures or side characters that reflected the 1950s mood the film celebrated. These appearances were chosen to connect the teenage story to a larger entertainment history. Director Randall Kleiser explained that the idea was to bring stars from the 1950s to make the setting feel authentic. Each of these actors added their own established style to the film. Sid Caesar played Coach Calhoun, the clumsy gym teacher who shouted orders during pep rallies and dances. His role recalled his years on Your Show of Shows between 1950 and 1954, where his comedy helped shape early television. Caesar utilized his sense of physical humor while leading the students through routines, linking the film to his past in sketch comedy. He later said the role reminded him of his early career, as he enjoyed being the straight man surrounded by teenagers. He replaced adult film actor Harry Reams, who was first considered but dismissed because the studio wanted a more family-centered choice. Joan Blondell appeared as Vi, the diner waitress at the Frosty Palace. Known from Warner Brothers films in the 1930s, such as Gold Diggers of 1993, Blondell carried her trademark quick wit into the part. She advised the Pink Ladies with the same sharpness that defined her earlier challenging roles. Kleiser explained that her presence added 1930s energy to the 1950s story. At 72 years old, she leaned on her background in Busby Berkeley musicals to bring life to the diner setting. Alice Ghostley was cast as Mrs. Murdoch, the shop teacher in Frenchie's Dream Sequence. Known for playing Esmeralda in Bewitched between 1969 and 1972, she carried her awkward charm into the beauty school dropout scene. She delivered her lines with deadpan timing, fumbling with tools, and echoing the clumsy style from her television roles. Her cameo connected the film to the humor of the 1960s television. Eve Arden played Principal McGee, the schoolhead who delivered her lines with authority and wit. Her role connected to her earlier work on Our Miss Brooks from 1948 to 1957, where she played a sharp teacher, and her Academy Award-nominated role in Mildred Pierce in 1945. Arden was chosen for her established teacher persona, which gave weight to her announcements and matched the school setting. Kleiser said that her background in radio comedy made her an ideal fit for the role. Frankie Avalon appeared as teen angel in Frenchie's Dream, descending in white to sing Beauty School Dropout. This performance reflected his fame as a 1950s singer with songs such as Venus and his roles in beach films. His smooth voice and appearance were chosen to add the feeling of that era, and he was cast after Elvis Presley declined the part. Kleiser explained that Avalon gave the sequence the 1950s feeling they wanted. These appearances gave Grease more depth, linking it to earlier film, radio, and television decades. Caesar carried his early television comedy, Blondell added her 1930s style, Ghostly reflected 60s television humor, Arden brought the sharpness of her radio and film career, and Avalon gave the dream scene the tone of a real 1950s idol. In later interviews, cast members such as John Travolta stated that the veterans helped them feel connected to the entertainment industry's history. Their brief roles shaped the film as a connection between eras. Background: when Grease was introduced to theaters on June 16, 1978, it became more than just a Broadway show turned into a movie. It was a phenomenon. It earned $188 million at the box office, beating Superman by $40 million, and became the most successful movie musical of its time. The numbers only tell part of the story. Audiences did not just watch Grease once, they returned repeatedly, pulled in by the mix of music, comedy, romance, and color that filled every frame. The film's setting in the 1950s gave it a timeless feel. High school cliques, sock hops, summer romances, and leather jackets all came together in a world that felt nostalgic but still alive. The cast brought energy that made every scene work, from Danny's swagger to Sandy's sweetness, and the supporting characters turned Rydell High into a place audiences wanted to visit. The soundtrack, packed with songs that have never gone out of style, helped make Grease more than just a movie. It became an integral part of popular culture. More than 4 decades later, the appeal remains undiminished. Fox staged a live television tribute in 2016, and new stage productions continue to find fresh audiences. Even fans who know every line and lyric say they notice small new details with each rewatch. Many do not realize that the making of Grease was filled with its own stories, from casting choices to unexpected on-set moments.
All of the actors really gave all they could to the film. And, you know, Grease has become one of the most successful.
Grease remains one of the most iconic musical movies of all time. Which of these behind-the-scenes facts are you just hearing for the first time? Let's hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please kindly subscribe to our channel and enable notifications for future videos.